Both men and women can channel in the Wheel of Time. In other words, both men and women can use the one power. Men use Saidin, the male half of the power, and women use Saidar, the female half of the power. There are various groups of people around the world that have the ability to channel. One of the most well-known are the Aes Sedai of Tar Valon. So it begs the question, how many Aes Sedai are there at the beginning of the story? In this video, we will review the information from the Wheel of Time prequel called New Spring. There are not any plot-specific spoilers, but keep in mind that although this book is a prequel, it was published after book 10 of the main series. Alright, so there are 3 levels. New students are called novices. Advanced students are the accepted, and the accepted that pass the final test are raised to Aes Sedai. In New Spring, Moiraine is accepted, and she reflected on the state of the White Tower. There were rooms for over 100 accepted in 2 different wells, but one of the wells had been shut up since time out of memory for any living Aes Sedai. In other words, there was room for over 200 accepted, but barely more than 60 of those rooms were occupied. There were also 2 quarters for novices, with rooms for almost 400 girls, but one of those was also closed, and the one that was open held under 100 novices. Moiraine had read that, at one time, the novices and accepted had been housed 2 to a room. In other words, at that time, there were 800 novices and 400 accepted, and half of the novices were tested for the ring. Half of the novices were tested to be accepted. But during the Wheel of Time prequel, fewer than 20 of the current novices would be tested. In terms of Aes Sedai, the White Tower had been built to house 3,000 sisters, but only 423 were in residence, with perhaps twice as many more scattered across the nations. So in summary, during the Wheel of Time prequel, there were an estimated 1,269 Aes Sedai in total around the nations, which may seem like a lot, but that is not a lot compared to the past. And more importantly, quote, no Aes Sedai would say it aloud, and Moiraine would never dare say it where a sister might hear, but the White Tower was failing. The tower was failing, and the last battle was coming.